Alright guys, moving on to the video equipment. This is a small LC filter. It filters both the ground and the power wires for video and clean power to your video transmitter and camera. I picked these up from Ready to Fly Quads. They have a larger one, and then this is a smaller one. I've used the large ones before and they work really well. I have never tried one of these small ones, so I'm going to put one of these on this quad. So you just have power and ground in and then power and ground out. They're good for 4S, so up to 16 volts and 3 amps. So I'm going to solder it to my 12 volt supply right here. That's coming off the power distribution board. And then I'm going to mount it with double-sided tape just right in here someplace. I may not mount it until I get the camera in there, so I find out what kind of room I have, because the camera mounts right in this area. But I'm going to at least get both ends tinned and then soldered up so I can move on with the next step of mounting the camera. Here's my camera set up. Now the kit comes with these two side brackets and then this plate which actually sets the camera angle and maintains it, and then your camera standard HS1177 will screw into the sides and give it a point to pivot, but it doesn't pivot if you use that back plate. It just stays fixed. However, it is adjustable. So I set it in the middle setting, which is about, I guesstimate that to be about a 30-degree camera angle, because like I said, I don't race. I just fly around and do some freestyle type flying. I don't spend my whole time on full throttle. So we'll try this out and then we'll adjust it if I feel like it's necessary, if I don't like it. But I did kind of struggle with this a little bit. The screws that come in the camera hold on this little plastic back plate, and everything is cheap plastic on these cameras, or at least on this Foxeer, which is fine, I guess, because it saves weight, saves the company some money or whatever, but got to be real careful with it. It's all just cheap plastic. So I pulled the screws out, tried to fit this plate on the back with the standard screws, because no screws came with this kit for mounting this bracket, and the screws were too short by about 2 millimeters. So I measured the stock screw, which came out to be about 6 millimeters, and then I dug through my miscellaneous screw bucket and found these wood screws with socket head. They're actually pretty nice screws, and cut them to 8 millimeters, so I didn't go too long and poke through this plastic case here. They were just ever so slightly a little bit larger in diameter, but just microns. I mean, it was nothing. So I thought, well, that'll go in there well and it'll hold nice and tight, and it did. It screwed in. Everything is very secure. And then the holes in these side plates were just a little bit too small in diameter for that little plastic nub that you see there. It kind of has a step on it, and you want the end piece about 1 millimeter or so to stick into the side of this hole so that these will fit together at the right width. So I just took a drill bit, what I take, I think it was a 3/16, and from the inside of the plate, I just took by hand and wallowed that out and kind of tapered the inside of those holes until I was able to push these sides on and get them all the way into the first step. And then when I put these screws in, which do come supplied with the camera, it actually comes with spares, 2 and then 2 spares, they tightened in there really nice and firm, and I feel pretty good about it. So then I was able to fit this onto the front of the frame and determine where I wanted my LC filter, and it'll excuse me, it'll clear everything really well right there. So I just used some double-sided foam tape, 2 pieces, and stuck that to the frame, and I have it soldered into the power distribution board. So 12 volts going in, and then now next thing I need to do is I need to make a harness that's going to come off the outlet side of this LC filter, come up with both of those to a Y so I can go power and ground to the camera, power and ground back toward the back to my receiver, or excuse me, my video transmitter, and then a common yellow wire or whatever color you want to go video from the camera to the transmitter. So I'm going to make up that little Y harness and then get it soldered on here. Then all I'll have to do is plug it into the back of the camera and then plug it into the transmitter wherever I end up mounting that. I'm thinking I'll probably mount that transmitter to the top plate, which is double-sided tape, and then probably a zip tie or something, a small zip tie. So that's where I'm sitting now. I'll get busy making that. I'm not going to show building that harness on the video, but I'll show you the completed harness once I get it finished up. I'm going to just use the supplied existing wires that came with the camera and the transmitter, and then cut into them and splice and put some heat shrink and so forth to make those two ends on that harness, and then we'll go from there. So we'll see you when we get done with that. So here's the harness, an end for the video transmitter, an end to plug into the camera, and then those are both powered by a Y here that comes from the LC filter. And then I just put my buzzer back here on the back underneath a zip tie, a loose zip tie, just to hold that right there. I was going to put a zip tie anyway, and I figured I'd just zip that down. So this is pretty well done. The next thing will just be mounting my video transmitter to the top plate, getting the antenna set up for that so I can just put the top plate on and plug it in. I need to adjust my camera settings, and then I'm pretty well done. Get the top plate on there, and I'll show you the final product once I get those items done, and then I'll be ready for the maiden. So thanks for sticking by and watching the videos. Hopefully you were able to get some tips off of it, or find some ways to do things or not do things. And I'm looking forward to wrapping it up and getting this thing out and flying it.